Welcome to the Journey Podcast, where we talk freight, sales, tech, the market, and everything in between. My name is Will Jenkins, CEO and founder of Journey. Let's get it. Today's episode is brought to you by Revanova. Revanova solves the transportation management challenges facing 3PLs, freight brokers, carriers, and shippers with multimodal TMS solutions powered by the #1 CRM platform, Salesforce.com. Serving the logistics industry since 2014, Revanova TMS customers benefit from increased sales velocity, improved service quality, higher employee productivity, and lower IT costs. Hello and welcome to Sales Bites by Journey. My name is Will Jenkins, CEO and founder of Journey, and I'm joined today by one of my best of friends, Robert Bain, aka the strongest man in logistics.
That's what the internet says. What's going on, man? How are you?
Dude, I'm excellent. Better now that we get a chance to sit down and talk about some sales stuff. So
yes,
I know you very well. I've had the opportunity to become acquainted over the last 5 years, which is really cool. But I know, crazy, right? Time flies. But I want you to give the audience just a quick 10,000 foot overview on your background so they can get acclimated with who the strongest man in logistics is.
Yep. So for those who don't know, my name is Robert Bain. I work for an organization called GLCS. We're a managed IT company. We're based in Minnesota. We're fully remote. We work specifically with transportation logistics companies on their technology and IT. My background, I've been around transportation, trucking, logistics, brokerage for the last 20 years. Started at CRST in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Moved to Chicago, helped found a couple of brokerages, one of which got acquired by Blue Grace Logistics. I ran a private carrier for about 5 years up in Waukegan, Illinois. Or north side Chicago. I was part of the first group of industry hires at Uber Freight and basically helped take that out of stealth to $1 billion run rate in about 14 months, which was super cool. And then I've been consulting and working around freight tech and tech-based brokerages and 3PLs for the last 7-8 years. So been a really fun ride and don't see it ending anytime soon.
Awesome, man. It's really cool to learn from you and see your varied experiences from being with asset-based players, freight tech, brokerages, freight-enabled broker or tech-enabled brokerages, all the stuff in between. So real quick, give me a fun fact.
It's the most obvious one, but I like saying it. I can basically say this with a 100% guarantee. I'm the only person in logistics in North America that's ever squatted 1,300 pounds.
That is quite a lot of weight.
Yeah.
That's one hell of a fun fact, my friend. Man, I'm super excited to dig into networking. I know that was the topic that you wanted to attack, so I'm going to go ahead and let you run with it. You're one of the best networkers I've ever met.
Networking is making new friends. That is really the simplest way to put it. It's incredibly important for your job, for life. I was taught very early on that build a network before you need it, and you never know what type of network you need. So just literally make new friends, talk to people, do not be an island unto yourself. And so I've taken that from the time I was a teenager, playing soccer. And so any different team we would play, if someone would talk to me, I'd talk to them. And that opened up opportunities to be coached, to be guest, player on teams. One of my first exposures to the college scene was doing that. So very important as that's transitioned into, professional life. Everywhere you go, you see people. And then especially if you get to the conference circuits, you have a captive audience. Everyone's there for the same thing. They want to meet people. And this plays back to my role as a director of partnerships is ultimately to find the right partners, I need to go meet them. And so networking is huge. Networking is crucial. And again, that's how I make new friends. It's how, that's how you and I met is I was networking, digitally because we couldn't go anywhere in 2020. And so I just figured, hey, I'm doing the same thing I always do. I'll just talk smack to people who work out because it's fun. And
yes.
5 years later, here we are. And, we are some of the best of friends.
It's crazy. What's interesting about networking is I think it can sometimes be a little scary if you're not sure, where does this conversation go or what do I have of value to bring to this? What would you say to someone that's early in the industry or maybe they're just still trying to figure out how to build their network? Yep. How do you just enter those combos? How do you figure out how to just get started?
Yeah. So with that, I'm actually going to steal a line from you. Go in with no expectations. I'm going in to talk to somebody, and I'm not trying to flip them into a sale right now. I'm not trying to, get a contact per se. I just want to meet someone, like learn what they do. A great example, I've got a bunch of business cards sitting right here, and this guy right here, name's Adam. I met him at Broker Carrier Summit. He worked at a brokerage for about 10 years, saw a need in the space that he thought he could fill, and has no startup going. He's been going for about 7 months now. And so he comes up, talks to me, and I was like, dude, this is cool. Like, would love to just keep in touch. Conversation was 5 minutes. And I was like, hey, exchange cards. And then as soon as the event was done, send him an email, hey, appreciate the conversation. And, would love to stay in touch and, maybe do like a monthly just kind of touch base. Would love to hear more about your business. All I wanted to do there was just make sure there was regular contact. So if you have any like goal for a network, if it's like find people that you can talk to on a regular basis to get a feel and a pulse for what they're seeing in the industry. If you work at XYZ brokerage and you guys have your customer base and you guys are working your business, that's great. You only see the market through that lens of what your customers are giving you and what's going on there. It's really nice to go over here to talk to ABC brokerage or ABC trucking company, and they run reefers, and they're doing everything out of the Pac Northwest. They see the market in a whole different view than you do, and so that's gonna be important to have. So really go to find people that are gonna give you some market insight. Or again, just talk about where they see things going, and especially if it's somebody who's a little more seasoned in the industry. Yes, I'm older. I'm in my 40s, and so if I have a young person comes to talk to me, say, hey, stay in touch. Like if you have things, I can kind of see the forest through the tree. And so I'm happy to do that. And so, look for people that are willing to do that. And so ultimately when it comes to, that very first time you go to a networking, like, oh gosh, what am I going to do? Just go shake hands. It's not too much different than when you were in college and you went to the bar the first time.
Yeah.
Just go and meet people and like, who's going to be cool, who's not going to be cool, and start sifting that way.
My favorite point that you mentioned there was building a network before you need it. Was actually 3 of these points. So making new friends, building a network before you need it, and then not having expectations, because what you probably see, or at least I see this a lot in my career, and I'm sure you do as well, the people that are succeeding at the highest clip have really strong connections. Like they're actually well connected with influential individuals. But then when you start to understand how those connections came to be, like they're good friends.
Yeah.
And then they realized there were some things that they could do together from a business perspective. And I've tried to adopt that as much as I can, especially in the business that we have today. Yeah. Everything is about meeting the right people. And man, I am never pressing to make something come to fruition because it may not be apt, right? Like that just might not be the right thing. But I got a lot of good friends, right? And a lot of times that turns into opportunities.
Absolutely. I think a great example of that is our CEO, Nate Johnson. Nate is one of the most connected people in the business. Like, my gosh. But also, like, is there anywhere Nate can go where he doesn't have friends? Look at the whole country. Nate's got friends everywhere.
It's funny, man. So you all have referred some great business to us, and it is directly a result of us networking, getting to know each other, and then me getting a chance to get to know Nate. And I think about it now, I'm like, man.
One of my favorite individuals there.
Dude, it's crazy, right? And I really appreciate it, but I think about it so much now, like I still have so much work to do to continue to develop those relationships with people because you never know where stuff's going to go, but you don't want to have like an expectation. Oh, shoot, I'm trying to get a contract from Robert, or I'm trying to get something out of, it's not how it's supposed to work.
No. You go in, and that's the nice thing is like when I look at any networking event, and so this is going to be kind of another point on how to prepare for these. If you can get access to anybody is going, so like if people are posting, oh hey, I'm going to I'm moving to Maryland, and so I've reached out and thankfully got an intro to the Baltimore Traffic Club.
Let's go.
Gonna go, meet some people, and so I found one person like, hey, I'm gonna attend this event here in January. Would love to meet in person. So now no matter what, I've got one meeting already booked. That's the same thing for conferences. Any event anytime you're going to spend your time. If you can kind of pre-plan that takes all the pressure off you, because now the only thing you're searching for is this person you've already talked to. And now you can go and meet new people. And typically these are people that have been around that arena before, or if they're not, cool. Now you've got a friend that you guys can go and kind of tag team together.
Totally. I love that, especially for organizations. Well, actually, I'll break it down 2 ways. I think my conference strategy is counterintuitive to a lot of the advice that I give about pre-booking meetings, because oftentimes I go to conferences with no meetings and we leave with a lot of contracts, but it's just different with like the way
I think both of us approach it similarly, but it is different given how we sell.
Right. But I love your point about pre-booking conversations, because when you think about, we'll talk freight tech or we'll talk brokerage, man, if I'm going to spend this money to go to a Manifest or a TIA or a food trippers, whatever it might be, you're talking $3 to $5 at least between tickets and food and hotels.
Entertainment.
I really want to do the whole deal. I really want to make sure that I am getting my ROI. So I'm going to spend $5 to go there. I need to have some good strategic conversations set up. And it still doesn't mean that I'm guaranteeing I'm going to push something so that this person buys, but I got to make those connections. And a lot of it, to your point, is pre-scheduling on purpose to understand who's available, who you can talk to. It's a big way of actually making the conferences make sense and the networking make sense.
I always like to make sports analogies. I think you'll appreciate this one.
Me liking sports? Crazy.
Yeah, right. Crazy. Yeah. When you really look at like the score of a football game, typical score is going to be like 24 or 21, right? You're talking they get in the end zone 3 times. 3 times. So you look at a conference, it's no different than that. You're going to get in the red zone twice that. If you can at least get your contact to the red zone, so you're not selling, you're not closing the deal, but you're getting to the red zone, you got a much better chance to score once you kind of reset, take that time out. All right, cool. Now we execute the play. Boom, contract. Going.
That's an incredible analogy, and I need you to know that I will be stealing it. So thank you.
It's called appropriation, and it's fine because we're friends, and we're down for that.
Yeah.
I do want to give credit to whoever gave the scoring system with football, because soccer is the same thing. Typical score is like 3-2, but we're stupid and we keep it as 1.1 goal, and y'all do 6 plus the extra point.
Yeah. It makes it amplified to an extent.
Yes.
So.
We actually use our feet though, so just gonna throw it out.
Correct. Yes, I know it's a misnomer, as they say.
Yes.
When you think about building, as you've been in the space, you mentioned 20 plus years now, so a long time to build your network. What are some things that you may have done early on that weren't the best for networking that you would advise a younger version of yourself today?
I didn't listen. I was really bad at listening to people. I was in a conversation, and like you and I are talking right now, and I'm listening to understand what you and I are talking about, what questions you're going to ask me, and how I can possibly provide value to anybody that's going to be listening to this later. I would listen just to respond. I was waiting for my turn to talk. It's a slight twist and tweak when it comes to conversation, but when you move away from just listening and waiting for your turn to talk and listening to actually understand the person, the conversations are a lot better. They're a lot smoother. And it makes that whole concept of no expectation way easier.
I love that point. I love that point, man. Okay, I took some notes. I want to go through them quick before we wrap up. And then if there's anything else that you think makes sense to chime in on, let me know. Yep. So the first thing I wrote down about networking was that it's really just making new friends, and that you want to build a network before you need it. Also, no expectations. Go in, meet people, not trying to push a sale. I just want to be able to build some good relationships. You mentioned staying in touch. You gave a good example. Connect with someone. Don't really know if there's an application of something that y'all could do together, but let's stay in touch. Mm-hmm. Pivoting actually to in-person, face-to-face event type stuff. Pre-book some meetings. Have a couple things lined up. And then one of your last points was don't listen just to respond. Actively listen. Understand what people are saying instead of being ready to jump in and whatnot.
Yep. I think the only other thing I would add for that is this is networking to build your own network. At some point, some people want to make the switch, and I hate using the influencer word. I think we both had it thrown at us a couple times. But listen, I like to leverage social media so people know who I am. I think it helps that I've got a very unique look to me. I'm not an off the rack kind of human. But I think it's important to figure out what it is that you do uniquely or special and broadcast that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'll tell you, because you've experienced this, because you've got an incredible social media presence. You and your team at Journey have done an awesome job with talk about the great things you guys do. Plus, I think your story is incredible and you tell it very well. People see you and immediately gravitate towards you. And I've had that happen with myself. One of the coolest things ever was the first manifest that Nate and I went together. I think you saw us there because we couldn't move. Everywhere we went, just crowd of people. And there's something to be said for that. When you've done the work to build the networks, this is that building it before you need it. And you can make a splash at an event where everywhere you go, everyone knows who you are and wants to talk to you. Life's real simple and real good.
I agree. And thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. The team here at Journey work quite a lot to build the presence properly and make sure that we're. Thank you. Thank you. Make sure that we're well connected. But I've learned a lot from you and Nate, just seeing the way that the team operates and whatnot. And obviously, we go to a lot of conferences and run into each other. And I'm like, man, it's a lot easier when you are well connected to be able to have some good conversations with people that you
Correct. Correct. Yeah. And to be fair, like, you can have some cool moments. I like sharing this one too, because this thing encompasses the whole reason we go network, right? First Manifest, working with GLCS. I'm there. We're talking to some people, and a lot of people know who Ben Gordon is. Ben, runs a conference called PGSA. He's got a great investment arm, works around freight tech. And Ben knifes his way through the entire crowd. There's a good crowd around us, and reaches out and says, "Hey, don't want to interrupt. Just want to shake your hand. Strongest man in logistics. Big fan." I'm like, one of the most important people in the space. Like, oh my God. I don't fanboy very often, but I absolutely fanboyed there for a second.
That's sick, man. Well, Bain, I appreciate you. It's been a pleasure sitting down and jamming a little bit about networking. Thank you for joining Sales Bites, my friend.